Get your own.
Cool. My name's Rossborough, and you're listening to The Groove Zone. Ow.
Yes, you are, and thank you very much. How are you, Mr. Hard to get a hold of?
Not too bad. Busy?
Yeah, a little bit, huh? Do you know, it's been easily 2.5 years, maybe 3 years, I think, since we talked last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh, yeah. A lot to catch up on. How are you doing?
Yeah. Not bad. Not
Good.
bad.
Good. I'm glad to see new music happening.
Yeah. Finally got my finger out again.
One finger or more?
A lot.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet. Thank you so much. I know you're busy. And so this really means an awful lot to me that you're able to put some time aside for us today.
No problem at all.
Cool. If you didn't have a little bit of a fan base here, I would have been like, no big deal. But it's like, yeah, you got a little bit of a fan base here.
Oh, cool.
Here we go. But only to fall. I'm looking out for love. Big love.
Hey guys, you are watching the Groove Zone Network. I'm DJ D Phoenix, coming to you live out of Tacoma, Washington this morning. And with us today, I've got an old friend of ours who hasn't been on with us for a little while. We're hanging out with Glenn Rosborough from Derry, Ireland today. Glenn, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well, my friend, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good. So what's new in your world?
Wow, quite a lot.
Okay.
Since we last chatted, what we were saying there 2 years ago?
Pre-COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose I'll go through it chronologically. During COVID, I just kind of shut down. I didn't do anything.
Really?
It was a really strange time. I was just about to go back out on tour. Everything kind of fell apart. And then also for me, that was a big problem was Brexit, because I think 90% of my gigs the year or two before were all in mainland Europe. Everyone I work with is English, although I'm Irish, so I kind of get round things.
Okay.
It just threw a spanner into everything. And I stopped. It was a strange time online as a musician, because everyone was just trying to get that space on social media.
Right.
All those gigs that were on like Friday, Saturday evenings from people's living rooms and
from everyone.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't really want to be a part of it. And I took a break, which I never thought I would.
I was really surprised.
Actually. Yeah,
because like you said, you had dates set up. You were still on that climb up, and I wasn't sure how long the period of time passed from the time that you kind of stepped back until you picked it up again.
I would say a year and a half.
That's what I thought. It was a pretty lengthy. Yeah. Wow.
What actually happened was I actually said out loud once that I think I'm going to stop playing.
Really?
And the day that I said that out loud, someone offered me a gig.
That's how it works,
Yeah.
Wow, really?
It was really strange.
Okay.
And then that kind of brought me back in, and then it just kind of from a little trickle to a stream to a river, and then now I'm working on a brand new album. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. Actually, the break was really good for me because it gave me an excuse to kind of get free from my record contract that I had before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I kind of readdressed what I was doing because I like the break, and I've got a young kid now. I really like creating. Maybe traveling so much isn't that big of a thing for me anymore, because I was lucky I got to do a lot before. And I don't feel like Yeah, I wasn't like, I don't feel like I was like I'm going to be missing out on anything. This kind of way suits me, where I'm just going to make my album, maybe play a few, like literally a handful of gigs a year, and just stick to being a creator rather than just the whole system of music. I think that's what that break kind of showed. I think that's what that break kind of showed me, was maybe the industry has, you know, through so many years of being able to build itself up in the machine, has kind of posed this face, the artists and the listeners, that isn't exactly true and isn't exactly real. You know, the whole, this marketing, and, you know, on Instagram, you have to show your face all the time. And it's a super, super strange, like how we're pushed to be like, here's my face, let me tell you about a gig. And it's like, it's got nothing to do with the gig.
Exactly.
So yeah, I've been kind of looking at that, and looking at that whole facade that's kind of being created more and more every year. And I suppose the album's kind of taken that kind of that drift from that kind of inspiration from what I've been seeing. And there's a lot, it's not angry, but it's a little bit protesty, shall we say. And it's got a bit of bite, and it's got a bit of grunt, and a bit of dirt.
Man, I'll tell you, I don't know what it is about your stuff though, whether it's like your original pieces or even some of the incredible covers that you've been doing. You're able to translate whatever's going on inside, or even what's going on in the world, and kind of reformulate it and make it your own, and then send it out there again. When you said that a minute ago though about the protest, for what it's worth, you know, quite some time ago, that was a protest song, you know, back in the 60s. And so you've kind of had that in your system somewhat anyway. And kind of there again, what you were saying a minute ago with this whole COVID thing, it totally restructured the entire music industry.
Yeah.
To a more user-friendly kind of DIY approach. And I think that's what a lot of people are really liking, because it's kind of put the control back in your hands.
Yeah, exactly. And even, this is going to sound like I'm kind of like I'm attacking people, but I'm not really, because it's kind of what the machine wants you to think. But towards the end of the year, you see artists like going out of their way to thank streaming services. It's like, oh, thank you so much to, you know, whatever streaming service company it is. And it's like, people 20, 30 years ago, they were the enemy. You know, and like it was musicians against those people, and now everyone's like crawling on their knees. They sort of offer up offerings to these internet gods, their streaming services and things, and it doesn't sit well, and it doesn't read well for music that's got truth, because I don't know how you can be truthful if you're serving a false god.
Oh my gosh. Just point after point already this morning, Glenn. You're basically echoing things that I've had going on in my mind that a lot of people feel the same way about too. And it's a sad day in music if that's the direction it continues to go. Yeah.
Like, I completely agree with the internet being a really good, useful tool. I think you have to be careful with what tools you use, and if those tools serve you more than, you know, something else. And I think that's a really dangerous thing for an artist to do. And the music industry's got very good at tricking people and convincing them that there's only one way to do things, and there's only one way to sell things, and that, you know, you're only legitimate if you do it this way. And I completely don't agree with it. Like,
no, and you know, perfect example. You're producing music, you're putting it out there without a company attached to it. And you're still getting great response. That's I think that's where the value of being a singer-songwriter, you know, sharing your own music. Not saying that you, like I mentioned a minute ago, not saying that you don't do covers, but your music though is just powerful.
At its evil way, my heart was blinded love went astray.
Your music though is just powerful, and I think that's what's given you, I apologize because I know I'm going to get off track here and I probably shouldn't. I watched Fall to Earth again a day or two ago, and it's as relevant now. Actually, Fall to Earth is almost more relevant now with everything going on than it was when I first heard it. But like, I Could Teach the Devil, original composition, correct?
Yeah.
That's got a different sound to it, and I really like it.
Yeah, completely different. I would tend to just write lots of different things anyway, because songwriting should be, first and foremost, it should be about creating something. It shouldn't be about that whole final product thing. Who's your listenership? Marketing schemes,
right?
And I was just like, I'm independent now. I can literally do what I like when I like to do it. So I woke up literally in that morning and went, I'm gonna put that song out today, and I just put it out. I had fun. I listened to it myself a few times, and if I find a song that I personally have written and I actually put it on myself for enjoyment, then I'm like, well, maybe this should live in the real world with everyone else as well as just in my own playlist. So yeah, I put it out. I have loads of fun. I'm a huge horror fan. And my friend actually runs a pretty successful kind of murder documentary thing on YouTube. And
really?
he was looking for some intro music. And I said, well, this is super murder vibes, horror vibes. This might suit you. And it got a really good response from all his subscribers, and they were asking for it. And as I said, I was listening to it myself. So I was like, yeah, let's put it out. And some people will get some joy out of it. Like, so why not?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I didn't happen to see what, and I hate viewer counts. I hate viewers.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not even 100% sure if they're correct, but that's my own deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the response after that is good. And I made myself some notes, because at this time before, when we talked last time, I think it was still so fresh that I had just discovered you. I mean, personally, that I didn't get a chance to do an awful lot of research. I see though, Ruben Keeney, is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, somebody's got some dance music out there from a ways back. 2010? Yeah. Was that about 2010? Okay.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Good stuff. What have you ever thought about doing a little bit more in that realm at all, or?
I've done a little bit of writing for other people.
Okay.
Kind of ghost writing vibe stuff, a lot of top line things.
Earth was another one.
And it's fine. It's good. It's good fun. With that type, maybe now Ruben's single, he was very sort of almost like a band approach to things, where there was a real kind of care about the song. Okay. Other people are just looking for a hooky vocal. They're looking for just one or two good lines, and that's fine. When I was a younger man, I used to enjoy jumping around to a steady beat. So I still like that type of music. I don't go out to it so much. But I'm never too shy about getting involved in most types of music. I think if the intention is correct, then it's worth doing. And
if your heart's in it, that'll totally, that everybody, you can hear that kind of stuff in music. You should be able to hear that kind of stuff in music. That isn't always the case with some artists, but yeah. Wow. Because I think that actually your vocal styles translate extremely well into a 124 beats per minute kind of setup. So I was actually really surprised. And I think that I caught that one. I think that played a few times on the station before our project closed, if I remember.
Right. Cool.
So a few people got a chance to listen to that.
you can dance if you want to.
Experience the new alternative.
Get ready.
Awesome. Kind of redirecting here a little bit. COVID, how have you guys managed in all this? Doing okay through it, or?
Yeah, we've been fine. You know,
Good.
life happens anyway. And I wouldn't want to assign anything. Like, we lost a few family members, but that kind of thing happens anyway. And I think you can attach it to world events if you want to, but it's a natural thing in life. We've actually had a great time. You know, apart from all the lows, the highs have been great. It readdresses your relationships with people who are close to you. Mm-hmm. It kind of shows you what's important.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been completely fine. Life's been going good.
Good.
To be honest.
Good. Because I got to say, there for a while, especially around that period of time that you took the break, I was wondering if that didn't have something to do with it. And I didn't know. You were pretty quiet from what I could tell.
Yeah.
And really didn't say an awful lot. So I didn't know if maybe like you guys were going through some real hardships or whatever. And every once in a while I'd put it out there, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Mm-hmm. Interview. And I know. So see, this gets me off your back too for a couple more years. So we're good.
Yeah, my thing was just, if I was going to take a break, I was going to take a break. And if I was ever going to make a decision on it, it had to be a clear one. And I brushed everything aside. It was really strange because when I came back to doing music, which was kind of more October, November, just passed.
Okay.
I had like 2 guitars. Now I've got 17. So it kind of shows you the difference.
Oh my gosh.
And like, just being even realizing when you go into a room that you're like, wow, I've only got like 2 guitars left. I've got this amp that doesn't work anymore. You kind of get a bit rusty and a bit weird to start back again, but
right.
It's muscle memory. It doesn't take you long to get back to who you should be and back to buying gear that you shouldn't really buy.
But that's the fun of it, though. I mean, this equipment that we're all surrounding ourselves with, these cords and gadgets and stuff, but they sure do make us sound good. You got to have a gadget or two.
Of course.
Well, I'm glad to know then that you weren't adversely affected by that, but you brought something up though, and I think that's a good point. I've lost as many, if not more, relatives over the course of any given year to things like the flu, and I don't know what happened to some of these, annual things that the Earth has been inundated with for centuries. How they all magically disappeared around the same time. But I'm no more concerned about it at this moment in time than I am anything else, because I don't know. But that, my friend, would take us down a completely different path that I don't really want to go down. So it does give grounding to some great conspiracy theories, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does. But sure, they're fun.
they are fun. I think it depends on how much stock you put in them, though.
Yeah.
Actually, since you and I talked last, we've branched out a little bit. Dub Effects off of YouTube and I had an interview a couple years ago, and the conversation kept going around to like things like GMOs, depopulation, the elite, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Real kind of like ethereal, kind of fringe topics. And it was interesting. For a couple of months, we kept doing our conversations. And then the restrictions started to lift, and he got busy again and left us in the dust behind. No, not really. I've been. But my point being that we've taken this idea of our original conversation and turned it into a podcast. And along those lines, what comes up from time to time are things like COVID. And it's a little dodgy because of the fact that like half the panelists are vaccinated, half the panelists.
We are young, heartache to heartache we stand. No promises, no demands. Love is a battlefield.
About in Ireland, but in the United States, there's so much division. They have totally.
Oh, it's the same here. What I think's really, yeah, really what the thing is that most people aren't missing is, when did we all get trained to give a hoot about what someone else is doing? We're all expected now to comment on every decision, on everything we see, on absolutely every problem that's raised that may never or probably won't ever affect our lives, but for some reason we're all trained now to join in the in this great big discussion, and we all have to have a press release, made, even if we're just, my friend's a plumber. He's as much expected as someone else in the media to have a fully formed opinion and a yes or no, answer to anything. It's either a yes or a no. There's no in between. You can't say I don't understand. You can't say I don't care. Right. And no matter which sort of way you lie on that spectrum, you have to have a definite answer now, which is
and you just
stupid.
Lost. There we go. Okay.
It just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, there we are. We're back.
I got a little concerned there for a sec. Yeah. Well, I'm glad for what it's worth to know that you guys are dealing with something comparable in Ireland, because I'm always under the impression that this is just us going through this, like, I don't know. And I can't quite put my finger on it. I just don't care for it. And we've got enough division in life as it is. Why add any more?
Yeah, I think division drives stock price, and that's what it's really about.
How much does bread cost on your shelves today?
£1.
Is that quite a bit higher than normal? Or is that lower?
Nah,
or is it about the same?
It's gone up. You've got might have gone up by about a fifth recently, but you can still shop around. Smaller stores are getting more expensive. Bigger stores are still kind of hanging on these things.
Right. And I like actually supporting the smaller stores anyway. In a situation like that, I'd rather go to a local baker.
Yeah.
We really don't ever hear that much, or at least I know I don't ever hear that much about what's going on over there unless there's something big happening.
The only thing that we've really had scary increases in are energy, fuel, and home heating, like gas and kerosene.
Right.
They've all got like ridiculously expensive, scary expensive. Food prices are okay at the minute. They haven't got ridiculous where they're not taking off, but some people's bills have increased threefold in terms of energy and heating. So I'm glad we're moving into the summer and things are getting warmer.
It'll make it a little bit easier, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, and especially with the pipeline situation happening as it has recently with Ukraine and everything that they're unfortunately dealing with.
Yeah.
The residual effects of that are going to affect us a lot more, I think, than people realized. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not in the game of politics today, and I don't know what the easy answers are, and I don't know if there are any. I think it's a sad state in the world, though, that things are the way they are, and so we make the best of it and stay positive, and in your case, write music and keep people uplifted. So yeah. The show that your friend does on YouTube, what was the name of that the song was written for? Or
the channel is called The Disturbing Truth.
The Disturbing Truth.
There goes my hero, extraordinary.
Is it like true life account kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's all true crime. Really well made videos, and yeah, he's very good, very switched on.
Very cool. You mentioned something a little bit ago, Glenn, about upcoming album.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of news can you give us on that?
Yeah, well, I'm planning towards the latter half of the year. It is written. I know what it is. I'm about 50% of the way through recording it. I'm recording it myself. My friend's recording the drums for me.
Nice.
So it's just kind of waiting for that to kind of trickle in. We're kind of doing it on the side compared to other jobs that we've got going on.
Okay.
But it's sounding kind of good. It's
kind of.
I'd say it's a grunge album.
Really?
It's it's Smashing Pumpkins meets Soundgarden kind of vibes. A little bit of Foo Fighters-y type sound in there.
Nice.
It's heavier than other stuff and a little bit faster. But it's closer to what I grew up with. It's closer to kind of what I love. So yeah,
I know there's a punk rocker in there somewhere.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Well, and I appreciate the artists that you just named too, because of the fact that, like being in where I'm at, I'm basically in the, walking path of all of them. Chris Cornell, Dave Grohl, all and such. It's funny too, 25 years plus, almost 30 years after grunge, to see the way that it like shaped an entire area. There's some places around here that still thrive on the fact that Kurt Cobain slept here, or that kind of a situation. Well, I'm really looking forward then to seeing what the new album has to offer up, because I'm sure it's going to be as great as anything else. Any dates at all set up?
Nothing at the minute, and I'm not really looking, to be honest. I think the main focus is kind of just to get this album created and see what the future is going to look like after that's done. I kind of don't want to just keep going back and playing old material over and over again. I kind of want to get the new stuff finished, and I kind of want to birth that, if you will, and then kind of move on from that phase then. In the meantime, I just kind of I've been doing the album in a really open kind of way. Sometimes I do like live broadcasts from the studio, which I'm in now. I'll be doing full breakdowns on like my YouTube channel, and so it's going to be a lot more open, because I don't have anyone worried about what I'll do. I just kind of do what I want to now,
which feels good.
And I love sharing advice that I could give. I love being an open artist. I like just exchanging ideas, and I think everything benefits if we are not competitive and more community focused. And I think you either have to be a part of it or you're against it. So I want to be a part of it.
Well, shoot, yeah, no doubt. And other than the fact that you are very hard to track down for a second interview, you are extremely approachable. And I think that's one of the things that that is so engaging with you, is the fact that you are extremely approachable. Our first interview a few years back, it was like we had known each other for quite some time, and we didn't even really get into any deep, serious, heavy duty subjects or anything, but just on a first time one-to-one basis. So I was just extremely impressed, and I was a little bit starstruck at that point too. So because I think you were my third or fourth interview at that time, and now I'm a seasoned veteran. No, not really. Anyway, and one of the parts about this job for me is that I get a chance to meet people like you. I'm able to, help promote your stuff as well. I just totally get a kick out of it. And so to be able to bring the name Roseborough to, American listeners has been totally awesome, and I pump it up as much as I can. So, yeah. And thank you again for the music.
No, amazing. I really appreciate that. And I think, when you break it all down, people who are trying to do the right thing and trying to do things that are good. We're all music listeners and we're all fans and we're all just those 14, 15-year-old kids buying like their favorite records. We're just bigger versions of those.
Exactly.
And that's what we need to remember. Like,
and I still am. I'm that 17-year-old kid looking out the back window, out of my bedroom window, looking at the closest mountain range and wondering what was on the other side. Wondering what the future was going to hold. I always wanted to go into music, but I couldn't carry a tune. So it's a good thing I knew how to spin records.
What a wicked thing to do, to make me dream of you, and I do wanna fall in love.
I do want to go over a couple more things. Sirens.
Yeah.
An original track.
Yeah. I wrote Sirens. My uncle died in a road traffic accident. And he was a passenger and it wasn't his fault. And it was a weird kind of like, I think it's very easy to get obsessed with death. I think death's a very fascinating thing. Like Irish people tend to do death quite well. We have things like wakes where someone's body will be in your house, their own house for 3 days.
Yep.
We all come round, we talk around, like, and you can have a normal conversation with the dead body being there, and we all drink copious amounts of tea.
With them right there. For a person that's never been to a wake before, it's a little bit odd. But I've been to a couple of,
And there's a thing like we always give firm handshakes at a funeral. It's that kind of skin to skin contact, that firmness where it's almost sore when someone shakes your hand at a funeral. But it's a real definite finality about things. And I think that openness, it kind of just leans towards studying. I really wanted to look at that moment right between life and death, that bit where you're just, you could go either way. And there's so many different cultural kind of narratives about death, and some of the lyrics kind of dive into that. There's horses circling would be like one of them. There's the sirens coming, like the Valkyrie coming to get you. There's lots of different little bits like that hidden throughout the lyrics. And then also because my uncle was in a road traffic accident, there was literal sirens coming towards the site. So it was kind of that in between bit and playing with that moment. And I really like songs that deal over 3 to 5 minutes about a millisecond of life.
It captures it.
Yeah, and trying to study that little flashpoint and everything that can happen in such a little flashpoint that can be so life-changing and can be create so much chaos in so many lives. Just like literally a click, and how things can ripple out from there.
Wow, there's a little bit more involved with that song than I even realized. That's pretty incredible. What a cool homage though to a family member. That's real. I dig that. Your covers, and then I'm steering to one other thing real quick before we're out of here. And there again, thank you so much for putting some time aside. Love is a Battlefield. What a great choice. You gave Pat.
Thank you. That is.
I'll be unhappy, no, and if only could make a deal with God. Now get him to swap our places. I keep running up that road. I keep running up that hill. I keep running up that building.
Yeah, well, like I've always loved that track. I think that there's a certain like almost pop rock of the 80s. Just has a certain beautiful vibe about it. It's pop, but it's still got realness. It's still, it's still a thing to it. It's still got a bit of soul in it. Love is a Battlefield is just a song we pump up when we're in the car and we're driving around, and like if it comes on, it's like, let's turn this up.
How can how can you not?
Like that, I know there's like you know, You're the Voice, Boys of Summer. You know, it's all these different tracks that just really, you know, it's just like put the windows down, turn the radio up.
Yeah.
And I think you know, you can start acting like you're too cool for school sometimes with songs like that. There's no joy in acting like you're too cool for school. Just turn it up, put your sunglasses on, just vibe.
I don't know about you, but I hear that song and I can't help but think when she's doing that thing, you know, out on the set with all the other girls that are all kind of like Mad Maxed out, you know, and they've got that whole thing down. I kept waiting for that in your video, and it never happened. I was a little bit disappointed, but that's okay. But you're right, though. Love is a Battlefield. There are a handful of tracks, I guess, from any decade, but there are a handful of tracks from the 80s, especially. And The Air Tonight is another one that I just totally dig. And it's got that real feel to it. It just kind of takes you a little bit further than some of that other music. I mean, there's something to be said for girls want to have fun, and you know, Cyndi Lauper and some of the more lighthearted 80s music. But there were some amazing tracks out there, and if you don't directly pay homage to them or do a cover version of it, I can still tell just with your sound and your style that it's floating around in the back of your head somewhere, because like I said earlier, there's a punk rocker in there.
Yeah,
there is. And we love that one. So what does the day hold for you? What you got going on after this?
I'm fixing someone else's guitar for them. So it's I love just repairing guitars, and like I said before, I have like 16 or 17. Most of them I built from old broken guitars here and there. It's like it's a little hobby I love.
Very cool.
And then I'm actually planning to put down some new guitar on a track that's going to go on the album. There's just a couple of little guitar lines have to go down, so I'm going to put the amp up to 11, and hopefully things will work out.
I love how I catch these references that you're coming up with. Oh my gosh. Yeah, something to be said for some Spinal Tap.
Give me a shout around the time when the album comes out too. I'll be happy to jump on again.
You can dance if you want to.
Experience the new alternative.
Get ready.